Hello and welcome everybody to the Chicago Art Department Sunday Evening News, where we give you a fresh perspective on the latest in human and machine interaction. For our first story tonight, today in eastern Germany, a machine at a meat plant ate a worker who was mistakenly thought of as an animal. At 11:37 a.m., Stanley Joklitz, age 37, was mangled by the RH-055 meat processor. Workers say that the sensor the machine uses to detect animals on the factory floor was turned on high. Stanley was really wanting to finish work early that day, and we guess he did. Next, we have the Chicago Art Department had some problems with their computers today. Students were editing videos when suddenly the computers decided to make their thoughts known.
Okay, so we'll do 14 of these, all right, for the whole thing. 4 more, 5 more, incoming 6, 7, all right. 6, 5, 2, 9, 3, 9, 4, 9, 5, 9, 6, 9, 8, 8, 8, C, E, F. Yeah, can we go ahead and just save across the board? Save, all right, sound save, all right, video save, okay, still image save, okay, incoming save, all right, outgoing save.
The problem continued throughout the day, with the machines getting more agitated as time went on. Interesting news story. Last week, we heard a news story about the use of modern technology to aid a 57-year-old, Sheila Jones, in her quest to have a baby of her own. Here's one woman's commentary.
She's not so worried about the pregnancy, but about the child's life.
Who will be there for that child? People need to understand that women in their 50s who are using reproductive technologies are not using their own eggs. So we don't want to send a message to younger women that they can postpone their childbearing years as long as they want to and have a baby.
Use the TV you're watching right now.
Still, she does acknowledge that at the playground, children sometimes mistake her for young Sarah's grandmother.
A 65-year-old woman showing up at the playground as mommy, or a 74-year-old woman showing up to the playground as mommy.
She's not so worried about the pregnancy, but about the child's life.
So we don't want to send a message to younger women. People need to understand that women in their 50s who are using reproductive technologies are not using their own eggs.
We cannot see into the future
and have a baby.
In vitro fertilization, she was implanted with an embryo formed from a donor egg and her much younger husband's sperm.
I was petrified of being a mother. In my opinion, it should not be up to strangers. It should not be up to the government. It should not be up to medical ethicists.
Merck maintains that the approved study provided the first clear evidence that Vioxx was linked to heart attacks and strokes.
That is hogwash.
A man today, in other news, was charged an extra $1.25 in order to remove his hand and part of his arm from a vending machine. The man became stuck in the machine when trying to dislodge a soda can he had thought he had paid the correct change for. Turns out he was trying to use a Canadian quarter, which the machine did not accept. After arriving on the scene, emergency workers concluded that the best and safest way to get the man free was to insert another $1.25, American this time, into the coin slot. The man never did get his soda. Here's some breaking news. Breaking under the pressure of mainstream society, the Amish have finally okayed the use of cellular phones. Some say that the easing of their strict technological restrictions was merely acknowledging the fact that the Amish have been secretly using cell phones to communicate with their non-Amish friends and associates for years. This surprise move could signal a new wave of technologies being introduced into their once, but never again, simple lives. Other electronic news, an audit of the newly introduced electronic voting machines used in 1/3 of all polling places in the recent national election. President Bush actually reaped an astounding 20 million fraudulent votes. In a surprising yet widely welcome finding, electronic poll engineers were aghast to discover the strong public sentiment opposing the Bush-Cheney tyranny actually rang true. Millions of right-wing Christians withdrew their boastful cries of a morality-based mandate and accepted their fate of being forced to sit through a Clockwork Orange-like reversal. Early this afternoon, Bush, once at the top of the world, fumbled his way through a concession speech after being asked to step down. Vice President Cheney, upon discovering the fate of their once thought unbeatable platform, was found dead in his office from homoerotic asphyxiation. In recent years, South Loop neighborhood has experienced an influx of big businesses and big buildings. This trend is known more commonly as gentrification. We go now live to our man on the street, Mike Nourse.
Matt, I'm here in the South Loop of Chicago, looking at the issue of gentrification. Gentrification is quite a story, Matt. Started long time ago, and somehow it's found its way here, in the heart of Chicago. Matt, for years politicians have studied the history of the machine of gentrification. Scientists and philosophers too, they've studied it. They've determined that it's like a well-oiled machine that brings together parts from all parts of our society together in unison, like a big, happy family. Matt, gentrification is also educational. In this case, the BP gas station that's popped up on this corner has taught us one thing. We all need gas. Matt, I first fell in love with gas when I was, a young lad, about 16 or 17 years old. Since then, I've needed gas everywhere I've gone. This neighborhood has fulfilled this long-standing desire of mine to get as much gas as humanly possible through my machines. Aside from gas, Matt, we also have many other things that have popped up in this neighborhood, helping its population understand more and more about how to live. In this case, the jewel behind me. Before it was up, I'd actually forgotten that I need to eat. Matt, I'm here with local resident Brian Cameron, a nice guy who's got opinions everybody should know about. Brian, can you tell me how much you love gentrification and maybe give me an example or two of how it's affected your life in a positive way?
No, I can't. Gentrification has not helped me much at all. I feel that the rising cost of living in the city is hardly worth the more attractive facades of the buildings around me. And the people on the street who are homeless are just so much more aggressive than they were when the neighborhood was just more agreeable to people of all social classes.
Matt, while the BP is good for gasoline, and while the Jewel is good for food and pharmaceuticals, there are other establishments which allow us to purchase things like power saws, lingeries, maybe a VCR, maybe some toilet paper and a slice of pizza. Matt, that's good shopping. Matt, that's America. And speaking of America, Matt, gentrification, the machine of gentrification, has brought us one thing. It's brought us Walgreens everywhere. Everywhere we look around here, there's a Walgreens, and it's taught us one thing, Matt. We're sick. Matt, we might be sick. Sure, we might need help, Matt. Here in the South Loop, Walgreens has taught us that they can help us, but they've also taught us that, in general, gentrification can cure those who need it. Matt, while some people are busy trying to figure out their lives, the nice folks here at State Place have figured it out for us, putting them together inside of a luxury condominium set at affordable prices. Matt, take a look at these condominiums. You telling me you wouldn't want to live here? I don't think so. Matt, I've been in this neighborhood for years. I remember moving here 3, maybe 4 years ago. The only thing I wanted was a donut. Since then, gentrification has taught me one thing. Evidently, I was wrong.
Wow, thanks, Mike, for that stunning report on the gas-fueled, well-oiled machine that is gentrification. Well, that's our news tonight for everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Chicago Art Department Nightly News, and have a pleasant week.